Welcome back to part two of the birth certificate of Sonny Liston. So now we know that the mystery, there is no mystery, there never was a mystery about Sonny's birth, that there were records, that there are records, as I proved uh, in my last video. Sonny's birth certificate was recorded in 1932. So the myth was that uh, there was no record of his birth, not even in the family Bible. So it is true that in Arkansas, people before there was a hospitals or vital records department uh, or government agencies that recorded births, people put their the dates of their children's births in their family Bible. That's true. But also, you have to understand that there were people that weren't religious that didn't have Bibles. So what did they do? Well, they basically use witnesses. I mean, you invite people to the christening. There are people at the hospital at the time of birth. After the birth, you're giving out cigars. Uh, After a child, especially a boy, the father gives out cigars. So basically, the whole town knows. Now, when they decided in Arkansas, when they decided, when hospitals started to be established and vital records and the bureaucracy of government bureaucracy started to come about, um, government programs, family programs established through government agencies. People wanted to get programs for the kids, whether it be food vouchers or medical help, whatever. They had to go to the government to get help through their programs, government programs. So the government said, well, okay, show me records of your kids. So the government, knowing that people prior to hospitals and government agencies, they understood that people kept their records in their Bible. So back in the day, in the early part of the 20th century, they parents brought their Bibles to their vital records, and they basically use that as proof of the date of birth of their children. Now, if they were not a religious family and did not have a Bible, they would bring the witness to they were asked to bring two witnesses of the birth of their child's birth to vital records, so that they could record their births, so they can get the government programs for their children. That's how it was. So in the state of Arkansas, birth certificates, the process of birth certificates started in 1914. Okay, so I'm just gonna read you a little bit about how it went down. Hospitals. Now I'm just talking about hospitals. Usually destroy medical records after 20 years for children and after 10 years for adults. Now that's hospitals, okay? Um, and that's after they've given that information to the birth information to the birth worksheets to vital records, okay? Before hospitals, people put birth records in their family Bible. So home births were registered through the family Bibles. But that was not always accurate because not everyone was religious. So when parents wanted to sign their children up for government programs, if they were religious, they would need to bring in their Bibles. If they weren't religious, they would need to bring at least two people who witnessed the birth. Okay, that's just how it was. This was the original way the Department of Birth Records started. Okay, home births were registered with vital records. Worksheets for the birth certificate were sent to Vital Records. Sonny Liston was born at the Forest City Medical Center in 1932. Any mistakes in terms of the mistakes in the worksheet or the certificate process will be handled and corrected by the amendments office in Little Rock, Arkansas. So, to say that there was no birth records in Arkansas until late into the 20th century is not true. The birth certificate process started in Arkansas in 1914. So, if you'd like to check that out, call Arkansas. They'll tell you everything I just told you. You don't have to listen to me. You don't have to believe me. I'm here to set the record straight. And thank you very much for listening.